My friend and I were just in the back going, "What the heck should we do? What should we do with our life?" And really, I didn't have money for college. Everyone told you to go to college, right? I didn't have money for anything. My parents were poor. I didn't have a lot of money. Working at Shoney's for $7 an hour and cook flipping burgers, doing steaks, cooking steaks, and all that kind of stuff. And then I just talked to my friend. We're like, man, what should we do? So we decided, hey, we're going to join the army. And that was May of 2001. And we ended up joining the army. And really, the crazy thing is they offered us an $8,000 signing bonus. They offered us 4 years of college. They offered us a whole bunch of shiny objects, benefits for life and all this kind of stuff. And we are just like, yes, let's go join the army. And I ended up joining. They're like, oh, you'll never go to war. You'll never get deployed. The National Guard hasn't been deployed in like 30 years, and you're good, right? And the funny thing is, I didn't really care if I got deployed or not. I just, we just didn't really know what to do with our life. So I ended up joining the army 2001, May of 2001, went to boot camp August 20th of 2001. And you all know what happened the next month, right? After August. So, it was kind of a crazy time. And the crazy thing is, I don't know where you guys were at during the 9/11. Everyone has their own unique story, but I was in boot camp. Boot camp in during 9/11. And the crazy thing is the drill sergeant, came out and he was just like, huh, the country just got attacked. And because he didn't really know all the details at the moment either, because we were in training. We were actually shooting our M16s that day, just training on that. And he's just like, yeah, the country's been attacked. The World Trade Center's been hit. And you guys are probably going to be deployed or going to war, so you need to shape up and take this seriously, and just kind of freaking everybody out. At first we were just like, didn't believe it, because it was a drill sergeant. We know that they want you to train hard. So we didn't really believe him, to be honest with you. And back then in boot camp, you weren't allowed cell phones, you weren't allowed TV, you weren't allowed newspapers, you weren't allowed anything. And they didn't let us watch anything. So we actually technically never got to see it happen. We were just told through a drill sergeant, and we honestly didn't believe him until like every day, until Sunday, because we're allowed to call home on Sunday. Sunday, we called home and found out that it was real, and it was crazy, But it's kind of crazy because that during that time during boot camp, that was the last time they discontinued or didn't allow you to watch TV or watch the newspaper like while you're eating in the chow hall or something. Like every boot camp after that, they got rid of that rule because there was so many people that couldn't get a hold of the soldiers and things like that when that crisis happened. But yeah, anyway, that's where I was during 9/11. It kind of changed my whole aspect on the military. Um, I obviously was more patriotic after that. My meaning of joining the military wasn't just to go to college anymore. It was to serve the country and, you know, keep the freedoms that we have going here, because I know there's a lot of freedoms that a lot of people complain about, different things that the United States is going through, the dollar crashing, everything that's happening here. But when you really look at the grand scheme of things, what other country has what we have? You know, there's countries out there that if you spoke religion, you would get killed. If it was different from their religion. You know what I mean? There's other countries out there. If you said anything about the president or the ruler or whatever, whoever's there, wouldn't they kill you or wouldn't they imprison you? I mean, there's people bashing Obama, and I don't, say that I agree with everything Obama does and everything, but there's people out there blatantly bashing the president because they can. Where else in any other country can you do that and not get hanged? You know what I mean? So the freedoms we have in this country is crazy, and you'll understand that yes, you can make a lot of money, go to another country, and live like a king, like David Wood has. But it was because he lived in the United States first that he had that freedom and that he could make this kind of money doing what he wanted. And I truly believe because, and if you read the Declaration of Independence and you kind of just follow it and understand how it was made, how this country was built, you'll have a little bit more respect for for the country itself. But so I just wanted to throw that out there. I have a true respect for the country we live in. And yes, there's always presidents that we don't agree with, policies we don't agree with, things we don't agree with, but I know we truly can be thankful for what we do have. You know, there's a couple things in here. Some countries like Ukraine, you can't even have your own cleaning business without problems. Yeah, isn't that crazy? So I'm truly thankful for this country. It's done a lot for me. I actually, just quick story. I'll let you guys go. Uh, because of the military, believe it or not, I met my wife because I was actually going through a divorce on one of my deployments. I went through a divorce, and so I left, and she pretty much, it was crazy because I went on a year and a half deployment to Iraq, right, in 2005, and I left. My wife divorced me, and by the time I got home a year and a half later, she was remarried with a child. Like, she literally had a child. So she divorced me, remarried, and had a baby by the time I got back a year and a half later. Crazy how long that was, right? What can happen in a year and a half. But it was actually a blessing in disguise because I married her and it was all for the wrong reasons. I tried my entrepreneurship things with her, and she just totally bashed it. No, that's scam. That sucks. That, don't do that. Totally bashed everything that I did. Never supported me. Um, I married her for the wrong reasons. She was pregnant, and we got married. And just kind of how things work, and I knew that it wasn't going to last. But the second that I left, I knew it wasn't going to work. But it was actually a blessing in disguise because I came home on leave. This is a funny story, and this is kind of why it's crazy that I epitomize internet marketing, right? Because I came home on leave. My friend made fun of me, or not made fun of me. He was feeling sorry for me. Sorry. He was feeling sorry for me for getting divorced, right? So he hooked me up with this girl I didn't know. This is a blind date or whatever. And, we kind of dated a little bit. And she told me to get a site called MySpace. Does everyone remember MySpace? Yeah. We all should know MySpace, right? Well, she told me to get a site called MySpace so I can communicate with her while I was gone. And I've already been gone for 6 months. I was just home on leave for 2 weeks. Okay. And I was divorced and everything by that time. So I came home on leave, dated this girl. She told me to get MySpace, and I went back to Iraq. Okay. And the funny thing is, I never communicated with that girl on MySpace. Okay. I never communicated with her. We just kind of dated a little bit while I was on leave and never really talked to her again. You know how that works, right? But the crazy thing is because she told me about this crazy little site, MySpace, I was bored one day over in Iraq. I got off my 12-hour shift off the tower, guarding a tower, guarding the base. And I got off my 12-hour shift. I got on my computer. We had the internet, Wi Fi there. And I got on this website, MySpace. And I was just browsing around, and all of a sudden I seen this little thing, suggested friends or whatever, people that live near you or whatever. And I saw Christy, which is my wife now, which is kind of funny. I saw her little picture there, and I just clicked on it for some reason. And she had this crazy, and I don't even know if the page is still up because I think our accounts got deleted after internet marketing stuff. But she had this crazy background. It was all sparkly and graphics and all this crazy stuff. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, because everyone else's MySpace, you know how when you go there, it was just plain and dumb. But I saw hers and it was like this crazy, sparkly background. I was like, what the heck? How the heck do you do that? So I just messaged her and I was just like, man, you have a cool profile. How the heck did you do that? Or how did you do that? I'm actually in Iraq right now. You can message me back if you like, or whatever. It was just, that's just how it started. And believe it or not, that simple message, she messaged me back. Then we started talking, messaging back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We literally talked for 6 months because I was in Iraq, she was in St. George, and it all started with this stupid little site called MySpace. Okay, and I came home on my second leave. I met her. We started dating, and a year and a half later, we were married. And it's just crazy how things happen. If I would have never got a divorce, obviously I wouldn't have met her. And she's like the best thing in my life. She supports me in everything that I do. She helps me in everything that I do. We go together, we live together, we're constantly together. There's not a day that we're not apart, unless I'm in the military. I go for a deployment or go for a 2 week thing. But I found my dream wife. I found my soulmate or whatever you want to call it. And it was because, number one, things happened. It was because of the military. I was gone. There's no way I would have ever talked to her if I wasn't in Iraq at that time, because I wouldn't have been bored on MySpace looking around. Okay, for one, and I wouldn't have had anything to talk to her about because I was in Iraq and she was in Lynn's. She was working at Lynn's. If I was in St. George working at a job, there wouldn't really been anything interesting to talk about. So the fact that I got divorced, I got hooked up with some girl that I never really talked to again. She told me to get a crazy site called MySpace. I happened to click on her profile and send her one little simple message. Had a conversation, came home, dated her, married her, and everything has been awesome ever since. So I owe a lot to the military. I know that it kind of slowed my business down last year when I got deployed again. But here's the thing: is I owe a lot to the military. It has helped me become more of a leader. I know that it's helped me be more outgoing. In school, I used to be shy, and if you meet me in person, you probably see a little bit of that. But I know the military has made me more of a leader. It's made me more outgoing. It's made me, respect what other soldiers go through and how the country is built. It's helped me meet my wife. It's there's a lot that I owe to the military. Now I'll be happily done next year in May. I'm not going to re-up. Not because I don't like it, but is because I've done my 11 years already. I don't need to stay in for the retirement because we make enough money are ready to retire on our own, right? So there's no way that I'll spend another 9 years to get, $2,000 a month retirement because I make more than that in my sleep. So, we'll be done after my 12-year mark in May 2013. That's when I'm done. But the service that I have done, I'm very, very proud of it. I owe a lot to the military. And so, anyway, wanted to just tell you that quick story about my independence, my service to the country, and I appreciate anyone else who's ever served, or anyone who else who supports the people who serve. And with that said, go listen, go watch, go read this, listen to that call. It'll empower you. Maybe you learned something new about me today. But anyway, I appreciate you all for being on the team. I truly believe our independence, we are actually creating our own freedom with our home business. People with a job, they don't have freedom. We should take advantage of our freedom. We should build our home-based business. We should, make more money than you can ever imagine to help more people. Take advantage of this. We are not free unless we make the money that we deserve. Okay, so with that said, you're definitely in the right spot, in the right place. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are gonna have an awesome rest of the 4th of July. I know I am. We're gonna go barbecue. We're gonna go swimming. We're gonna have a nacho party tonight. But anyway, I appreciate you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Go have fun and make it a great night.